Welcome back to Wrestling Pops. Except this time, I have a guest. What? Yes, I have friends. Uh, this is my good friend, my very good friend, one third of the Deep Culture Podcast. Excellent with taping things.
Three Pete,
Three, excellent with
three
taping
count,
things.
three count, three count.
One time recorded a whole AJ Styles match, only to delete it to get
Clear up
storage space on
space.
his
Yep,
computer.
yep.
Tanner Blakely.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be here in wrestling land, wrestling pops.
Wrestling Bobs.
Huge fan of the show.
Oh,
Love what Michael's doing with the format here.
huge long time fan, first time caller.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah,
Tanner, so let me ask you this. So when I asked you if you wanted to do wrestling pops, because you don't really watch wrestling as much as you probably once did.
yeah.
And I asked you what would you want to talk about. You very quickly, I mean, like Tanner's a pretty quick texter, but very quickly replied back with ladder matches.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
today we will be discussing ladder matches. What is it about ladder matches that really captures your attention, that you're a fan of, that you enjoy?
So it's really just the fact that it's not like any other match that they have, other than say like Hell in a Cell or Steel Cage or any other like special event matches. The what you're fighting for is typically hung 20 feet above the ring, and you have to ascend a ladder to yank that thing down to proclaim victory. And really what you can do with ladders is limitless. Like my mind instantly goes to all the TLC matches, like the iconic TLC one with the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. And that match is brutal. That was at what, X7 in
I believe so, yeah.
something
I,
like that. And
was
then
that TLC one? Wait,
that might have been two. That might have been two.
I think they
I
had
think one
WrestleMania
was at
2.
like SummerSlam.
I think they had WrestleMania 2000. I think there was one there. So that would have been WrestleMania 16. I think WrestleMania 17 was the final one, I
There
believe.
was a TLC 3 that was on SmackDown. That was the one I texted you about. That was for
Okay.
the tag team titles. It was the Hardys, Edge and Christian again, Dudley's again, and Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit.
Oh, what, no,
Chris Be-
no.
Chris Ben
Yep, we cut. No, that one is a really good match. I do.
Yeah.
I,
All of
I
those
do.
TLC matches are just
When you
insane to
said
watch.
when you said those three, and then there was two more, I was thinking of what could the other team be. I wanted to like say Rhino and somebody else. Thinking,
Rhino was involved in TLC 2 at X7. He gored
yeah, he
someone
was.
through a table and then gored Lita
Yeah, Lita.
on the
Lita got.
outside.
Yeah, I do remember that. But immediately when you said those teams and there was a fourth team, I was like, all right, I
So
know.
maybe my real answer is TLC matches.
Well,
Maybe
I
that's
mean,
the real
really,
answer.
really, ladder matches usually involve tables
It's
anyway.
the no disqualification nature. Anything goes, no holds barred. You can use any foreign object you want, and people falling through tables, like double stacks of
Yeah,
tables, which is pretty much every ladder match at this point, or
yeah.
at least a TLC match. Someone's getting put through two sets of tables.
So let me ask a follow up question to that. Are you a fan of like the other hardcore? Would you say you're more of a fan of the hardcore style, or would is it just the ladder table nature, like falling
I
off of stuff through the table? Like if Mick
honestly, I
Foley
think
runs in with a barbed wire bat, is that
I,
exciting to you?
I'm not like gonna freak out over it. I think it's just, me being a dumb kid thinking you're invincible, watching Jeff Hardy swanton bomb, you know, Devon through a table off a 20-foot ladder. and you
Yeah.
want to do that to your little brother on a trampoline
Well, of course. Yeah.
because that that just makes sense
Yeah.
in
Like
your head.
yeah, you have to do that.
Um, so I guess in that way, um, just watching those matches and being just in absolute awe of what they're doing, like watching Edge spear Jeff Hardy while he's dangling from the tag titles and
Yeah.
spear him to the ground while he's hanging. That was insane. Uh, the atomic drop that Bubba Ray does on Christian off of a ladder and the recoil they both have off the mat
Yeah.
both look awful. And then Matt Hardy hits Devon with a twist of fate off the ladder, and Devon lands like this head first, and then
Yeah.
he starts convulsing in the ring, and I'm just like,
What is happening?
I mean, I love the oversell, but
It's those matches.
it's just so fun to watch.
There's a sense of realism though too, which wrestling it is theater in a
Hmm.
sense because it's predetermined, but it's also like that's the part that people miss is that guy just fell off a giant ladder onto a
Yeah,
piece of
onto a
wood.
pretty hard surface. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that
it's
like
spring
it's not
loaded, but it's
you
pretty
know
hard.
yeah, I mean like that's not
Or
an
they fell
easy
straight to
fall.
the floor.
Uh, a lot of times I think I can't remember which interview it was, but like wrestlers will talk about how tables cushion their fall, like they would
Hmm.
actually rather fall through a table
Yep.
sometimes. At least here in America, elsewhere, like Jericho's talked about how the Japanese tables are stiff. Um, Here that would cushion your fall, but I think people that to me, I'm not a big hardcore style guy. I occasionally like it. I'm not like ECW wasn't my thing,
Hmm.
but uh at the same time, every once in a while, like, man, I really hate this guy. I want to beat him up so bad. Yeah, I'm gonna put you through a
Put them through a
table.
table. Yeah,
I'm gonna throw you off a ladder. Like I'm trying to hurt
it's
you.
it's
And
the
yeah,
it's the exclamation point onto a
yeah,
feud or a great match.
exactly. Um, So, kind of already said some names here. Who, if you had to have a Mount Rushmore of ladder matches, like the ladder match, Mount Rushmore,
Okay,
who,
so just the match, not the participants.
well, either.
Okay.
So if you had four that you think they are the best in that match, or
Mhm.
whatever criteria you want to use, but like who are the four people you would put on that?
Okay, so I this is tough because I mean, obviously you want to go all three of those iconic tag teams, but individually, who did the most? I mean, Jeff Hardy jumping off of any and everything is definitely on there, even though I don't they won one ladder match and it was against Edge and Christian at No Mercy in Cleveland. I mean, Edge has to go on there. I think, see, now it's tough. Do you put Christian on? Do you put Matt Hardy on? Do you put Bubba Ray? Do you put Devon? Um, gosh, I think I think we put Bubba Ray on.
Wow, wow,
I
that is
really do. More so than Devon. Even though, no, I think we're switching that. Or we just put them both on.
so you have four spots. You're gonna use two on the Dudleys.
I think so. Because Matt
Okay.
Hardy, I'm not gonna lie, Matt Hardy really is kind of forgettable in those matches. Like a lot of times he'll end up through a table and he'll just be there for 20 minutes
I mean,
and then
that's fair.
pop his head up, push somebody off a ladder. Like I
Yeah.
said, give a twist of fate to Devon off of the ladders. Um, and I guess in a way, Jeff Hardy's kind of that same way, but it's just the memory of the Swanton off of ladders and him jumping over a ladder from a ladder, putting Bubba Ray through the table with a leg drop. Um,
Wow.
and then his independent ladder match that he had with Undertaker on Raw, where he really kind of earned Undertaker's respect at the end of that
That
match.
yes, yes. That's a
So,
very that is not to cut you off there, but I was trying to think of a funny question with like big men,
mhm.
like
Kane,
an
Kane's another weird one.
all
He
big
was in
men ladder
Money in the
match.
Bank. Yeah.
But then I thought of the Jeff Hardy Undertaker match,
Mhm.
and Undertaker is shouldn't be anywhere near a ladder,
No,
right? But
no.
still, that was a great ladder match. I did
Hmm.
so. So that's a really good example of a big man in a ladder match. The Dudleys, so far you have two. You need two more. Did you add any?
I feel like we go Jeff Hardy and Edge.
Okay, Jeff Hardy and
Christian does a lot. Like what really sets Edge and Christian apart is their chair usage. Like uh with the concerto on Chris Benoit during TLC 3, where Benoit has like broken ribs allegedly. They cart him back up behind in the gorilla, and he comes back out, kind of, hulks up for a second, and then Edge and Christian just slam him in the ribs with chairs. And then in that same match, Christian just straight up chest passes a chair to to Bubba Ray, and just he doesn't even try to get out of the way at that point. Like the chair shots that they take in those matches, especially Bubba Ray Dudley, are some of the most grotesque shots
yeah,
I've ever seen in a wrestling match.
can't
He
do that
doesn't even
anymore.
try to move. He stares down the barrel
Don't
and just lets him hit him in the forehead. And they're not even like trying to swipe it around to
no.
like hit that like glancing shot. It's just straight chair seat to forehead, and the chair buckles, and his brains have
Warped.
got to be scattered
Oh
all
yeah,
over the
they
front
definitely
row.
are.
Like I don't know how that dude is able to form sentences correctly
Well,
and run a podcast.
all he's doing now is throwing shade at.
I was just say all he does is on Busted Open is just talk about everyone else
Yeah,
and how much he misses the old locker room and stuff.
he's still wrestling now. I gotta give it to him. I mean,
Is he
like
still on TNA?
he's on Impact. I think he's Slammiversary. I think it's coming out. Probably have been out by the time this goes up. But he's wrestling on it. Bubba is so. He I was just saying that because he made a comparison to ECW and AEW,
Hmm.
saying that they AEW caters too much to their hardcore fan base,
I would see, part of me
which
wants to agree with that statement, but
ECW is a hardcore fan base, and all they
yeah,
did was cater to that.
yeah.
So,
I mean,
um,
that's really all you could do in that Hammerstein ballroom, jump
yeah.
off the balcony and stuff.
And, so my Mount Rushmore of ladder matches. There's a few, and I really want to put. I got my Bret Hart shirt on. I really want to put Bret. I think Bret Hart gets credit for coming up with the original ladder
Yeah.
match. I want to
There,
say,
so on that ladder match DVD that I have, there's one match before it, and it was back in like the 60s or 70s, and it's
oh,
not fun to watch.
oh,
It's
okay.
it's from like Stampede Wrestling. I
Uh, yeah.
it's not good.
So that would make sense. So maybe it was like a Stampede thing, and then,
Hmm.
but Bret and
But
Shawn
Brett and Sean's match really put it on the map.
Brett and Sean. And then the first one that like took it over the top. So on my Mount Rushmore, begrudgingly I have to put Shawn Michaels there.
Showstopper.
The WrestleMania 10, him, which now when you think of all the spots people do, like you just talked about the Hardys, the Dudleys,
Hmm.
Edge and Christian. Um, he jumped off like the sixth part of the ladder, but that shot, the way it was shot
The
from
way
like
it's framed,
down,
yeah.
and he's just coming down on Razor
Yep.
Ramon. Um,
That's a great match too.
I think yeah, and Sean didn't even win that. Razor
Hmm.
Ramon won. So uh that I'd have to put Sean there. Another one, Jeff. I have to put Jeff Hardy. I all the other
It almost
guys.
feels sacrilege if you don't,
All
just because of every moment that he made in every one of those matches.
there's so many guys you could think of that are great in ladder matches, but when you think of a ladder match, I think of Jeff Hardy doing something to hurt himself. Like uh
To
going along with that,
sacrifice his body to give Matt a chance,
yeah.
but he never does anything with it.
Going along with that, my third person would have to be Edge. I think Edge, he made a career out of that as an undercard guy,
Mhm.
the mid card guy, doing tag team stuff. Then he broke away his first big feud with John Cena. Memorable moment, him getting thrown off a ladder through all the tables.
The attitude
Make
adjustment in Toronto.
yeah, yeah, making Cena look much better, taking that huge bump. There was another like Edge winning Money in the Bank,
Hmm.
and then a fourth person, because there are a lot of tag teams. You could say the Young Bucks. You could say like the Lucha Bros. Um, RVD. I can think of a lot of people who are great in ladder matches.
Mhm.
Um, but Shelton Benjamin,
That dude's
Shelton,
just a freak athlete.
yeah, Shelton
He's just so
Benjamin.
good.
He made the Money in the Bank. The first few, like now they have a Kofi Kingston thing where like,
Yeah.
what's Kofi going to do at the Royal
Mhm.
Rumble? That used to be Shelton Benjamin with
Mhm.
Money in the Bank and the ladder match. Like he'd run up the ladder, he'd do the it's propped up on the ropes, he jumps off of it, he
Use it as a
flips out.
springboard. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean the dude is insane. It's kind of bizarre to me that Shelton Benjamin didn't become bigger than he was. I think that's a huge
Yeah.
travesty
Huge
because
miss. A huge miss.
he was so great in ladder matches. He had those victories over Triple H, but my Mount Rushmore, I'd have to say Sean, Jeff, Edge, and Shelton Benjamin. So
The common
um,
denominator there, all fantastic theme songs.
yes,
Just
yes,
banger intro music.
yes, yes. They are just sexy boys.
All of them. Yep. With neon face paint and weird looking sunglasses with
All
leather
right,
trench coats.
let me ask you this question. So, I listened to which have you ever heard of Deadlock podcast? Shout out.
Deadlock. I don't think I have.
Oh my gosh, do yourself a favor. Listen to Deadlock and it'll change your life. It's so funny. Shout out. Not that they need it because they're way more notable than I ever am. But they used to at least do like rank the theme songs
Hmm.
for each person, and they would do it for each one. I'm not gonna have you do that. What is your favorite Edge theme song?
It's Metalingus. It has to be.
Whoa.
It has to be Metalingus.
No, it
It's one
doesn't.
of the best
That's
intro
a wrong
musics.
answer.
No,
Yeah.
it is arguably the best of all time, and that's a hill I will die on.
I mean, you know how many awesome theme songs there are? And I don't even think that's the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
Edge theme song.
No, what do you think it is? Do you think you
Uh,
know me? Doo-doom,
ne-
doo-doom, doo-doom,
yeah, I like the
doo-doom, doo-doom.
original, but
It's
that's not
not
my favorite.
bad.
Never
It's
Gonna
not
Stop
bad.
Me, Rob Zombie.
I don't even know if I'm familiar with
Never
that,
gonna
honestly.
stop me. You don't like that?
Mm.
That was a
Let
crazy
me
one. It
listen
comes
to it.
out,
Let me
you know,
listen to it.
I'm a big Survivor Series '01 guy. He's coming out, he's facing Test, Rob Zombie.
Or
Well,
his Brood music with
yeah.
Gangrel and Christian.
Yeah,
That's
okay, okay.
I think the Brood's a different
No,
tier
that's
though.
Edge. That's
Yeah,
actually like Gangrel's music,
yeah.
I guess. So
So then I guess Gangrel has the best music in WWE.
yeah, that's it's settled. We figured that one out.
Yep, it's Gangrel.
Figured that one out. Uh, I was making a joke of it earlier. If you had to put together four four people, four wrestlers
Uh-huh.
that would make up the worst ladder match, which four wrestlers would you put in the ladder match?
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Uh
Hmm.
oh gosh. What was that dude? Uh the who were the team that came out to Biscuits and Gravy? Was that
Oh,
like Festus?
Jesse and Festus.
Yeah, give me Festus.
That's Doc
Uh
Gallows. It's Doc Gallows.
yeah, I still want to see him in one. Um give me trying to think of another. I think Doink the Clown would be a sleeper pick for a ladder match.
R.I.P.
Um
R.I.P. Doing.
and then just oh my
Did
gosh,
you ever
just
watch Dark Sides?
no, I need to.
They had one on Doink the Clown. I think it was recent.
I did see the one about Ric Flair and the airplane ride from hell
Oh yeah,
where
the
it's
one that
yeah,
got him that cost him
yeah,
his job with AEW.
yeah,
Yeah, they didn't say
yeah,
that, but that's what happened.
that was gross.
Yeah.
All of that was gross. Um,
Woo.
give me
Woo.
just just for the ribs, give me the honky tonk man.
Oh yeah. You know what? The honky tonk man sucks so bad.
I
He
hate
owes
that
every
guy
his
with a
car.
passion.
He might be a nice guy. I don't
He's
know.
probably not.
No,
He's probably not.
probably not. Um,
He almost hit three minors with a rental car
yeah,
in Marietta,
Marietta,
Ohio.
Ohio. No big deal. Yeah, he's just like, move. I'm late. I'm late.
Maybe.
You know,
Maybe if you weren't taking a midday nap, you old geezer, you'd get to the venue on time.
that's awesome. My four, I think, worst ladder match participants have to be Great Khali.
Yeah, that dude's knees just have nothing there. That's bone on bone. I
Great
feel bad for
Khali,
that dude, but
Goldberg, because it'd have to be a quick
okay.
match.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, um, what is the guy's name? Oh, what is his name? Freak. Oh no. Ryback. That's his name.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah, Ryback.
Ryback. Ryback would have to be
Yeah.
one.
No one
And
likes
then
that guy too.
and then just for the lulls, Honky Tonk Man. I'm gonna put
Yep.
Honky Tonk Man.
Just for the lulls in any match, give me Honky Tonk
They all
Man.
just take turns beating up Honky Tonk Man. That's pretty much
Yep.
it.
They each get their own guitar, and
Yeah.
each of them get to crack it over his head.
And then Jeff Jarrett comes out and hits him with a guitar too. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then
Um,
I want Carlito to spit in his face with an
yeah,
apple
because he's not
because
cool.
he's definitely not cool.
Oh no, he's not cool. Um, uh, wrapping up here, coming to a close here. If there's any wrestlers right now, and I know you don't really keep up with it as much as you used to.
I follow from a distance, so I like TikTok helps me stay kind of in the storylines and who's feuding and whatnot. Twitter is the same way. I still follow the WWE on Twitter, so they always post snippets of Raw and SmackDown and some pay-per-views.
If there were, um, who are I don't know why I'm beating around the bush with this question. Who are some of your favorite wrestlers? Not just necessarily in ladder matches, but
Mhm.
who would you say is your favorite wrestler right now, and why is that?
There's just something about LA Knight.
Right now? Oh my gosh!
I don't know
Wow.
why. Let me talk to you.
Let
Just
me talk to.
the guys.
Oh,
He had an interview with Chris Van Vliet. You know that guy? I can't remember
yeah.
what I'm talking
I
about.
don't know how to pronounce his name either. And
But
again, he's way more famous than I
he
am.
he
But
made the comparison to him being like a mashup of The Rock and Stone
that
Cold
was
Steve Austin.
that was Kevin Nash who said that.
Was it
Yeah, that Kevin Nash I think was being he was either on a podcast or he was
like a
being
gimmick
interviewed by.
infringement kind of idea?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was Kevin
But
Nash saying that.
there's something with that character that kind of takes me back to the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
It might just be the fact that he legitimately sounds like The Rock,
yeah,
and his yeah
yeah,
uh and his finisher is basically a modified stunner.
yeah. I mean,
So, but there's something about that guy, and I almost felt angry that he didn't win Money in the Bank a couple weeks ago. But at the same time, I'm like, does he need it? You know what I mean? Like he's getting huge pops everywhere.
yeah,
So really, does he need it? Because I feel like he's on the way to a belt at least.
yeah,
In sometime in the near future, I would assume.
yeah. He's ascending definitely. As we're going through, I'm really shocked to hear you say that name. I don't know why I'm
Who did
shocked.
you think I was going to say?
I thought you were gonna say AJ Styles.
Nah, nah,
I
I'm kind of over on him, honestly.
I do want to
I
say this. I do want to say this. Moving forward, I don't really share overly my favorites or favorite wrestlers per se, or like it's just mainly about the moments
mhm.
that I've really enjoyed. Occasionally I do like I talk about how much I love Bret Hart, um, and but anyway, AJ Styles. When I was joking about you recording that
Mhm.
wrestling at that point, that's when Seth Rollins was kind of starting to take off in
Mhm.
WWE. This is when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are coming in to WWE. That's pretty much all I knew in wrestling. I was the WWE force fed guy. And then AJ Styles shows up at this indie promotion. And
And another guy that well, not really my favorite, but like a guy that came out of that as like a big name to me, but isn't really a big name is Facade,
oh
the
yeah,
Neon
Facade
Ninja.
Facade is great too.
Want to
Facade is
give him a shout out.
yeah, he Facade is awesome. He's amazing. AJ Styles though, always knew he's the impact guy.
Mhm.
I always knew he was great, but never really watched him. Watching him at those two shows in Marietta kind of
Mhm.
rejuvenated me and my love for wrestling. And then
Yep.
that got me connected with like, oh crap, this Kenny Omega guy
That led to
kicked
New
him out of
Japan.
the
Yep.
Bullet Club. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Who's this Kenny Omega guy? And now I'm like the bit like I love, Kenny Omega, but
Mhm.
really rejuvenating me into wrestling. Um, the guy doesn't need, I think, any extra flowers. I think everybody knows how great AJ
Mhm.
Styles is, but man, like, you know, Omega, uh, the Elite, those guys love those guys. But if it wasn't for AJ Styles, I don't know really
That that
would I
really
be
led me.
watching the other guys.
Yeah. Those Marietta middle school matches with Remix really led
Shout
me
out
to
Remix.
huge shout out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um that those two experiences led me to following AJ Styles into New Japan and then
Yeah.
seeing Kenny Omega, like you said, seeing guys like Naito,
Yeah.
like
Naito's
Kota
great.
Ibushi, like Tanahashi,
Yeah.
um, Rainmaker. Can't remember his last name.
Okada.
Okada. Yeah.
Okada.
His
Rainmaker.
match. Like the first time I saw him was Okada versus Omega,
Yeah.
and that match was brutal. It was like an hour long, and they were just teeing off on each other.
Beating the crap out of each other. Yeah.
And then yeah, that led to Kota Ibushi and I think Cody Rhodes. I
They
think at
so
some point.
one of and I'll say this also, one of my favorite storylines, just in general of the last so many years, when Cody and Kenny kind of had a who is the leader of the
Mhm.
Bullet Club,
That
and
was
that led
yeah.
to Kenny kind of distancing himself from like the Bucks, and he's teaming once again with Coda, and then
The Golden
Cody,
Lovers. Gosh, I
yeah,
love that name.
Cody is kind of kind of being distant with the Bucks too, and there's just kind of this a whole like thing. The matches that came out of that um were absolutely amazing, but that's where you see like Okada and Omega.
Mhm.
Um that's where Omega finally won the title. I who did Naito wrestle at the time? I think Naito might have been wrestling Jericho.
That sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, but Naito's amazing.
Because
He was
it
just a
was at one of the big Wrestle Kingdoms.
yeah,
That was gosh, I was in grad school, so that would have been 2017 or 18 maybe,
yeah, that's about
something
right.
like that.
That's about right. But yeah, AJ Styles, he was so good. He got me back into it, and then that led me to New Japan, now AEW. I keep up with WWE as much as I can tolerate. There's just so many camera edits. I just can't deal
Mm,
with that. But um, wrestling, oh, it's so good, so good.
it's
Um,
great. It's great when it's great. Like what they're doing with the Bloodline right now is fantastic.
Bloodline is a really good story. It's kind of wrapping up. I'll be interested to see who
Someone's gonna take the belt off Roman,
I'm
but is I don't.
wondering who ascends from that. Like,
Yeah.
um, I know Cody he has to finish the story at
Mhm.
some point, but
It feels like they're playing up
Solo,
the solo kind
yeah,
of in between them as like the mediator, but he's gonna end up maybe
the almost like a
siding with
Batista,
himself. Yeah.
yeah, he's almost like a Batista,
Hmm.
yeah, see it. Uh, that's a really good story. WWE for a long time didn't deliver on stuff like that.
Mm,
I think it's so funny the revisionist history that's also kind of taking
yeah.
place
Yeah.
because they're like, oh yeah, no one does storytelling like WWE.
And that
WWE,
was not the case for a
yeah,
hot second. That's why I stopped watching
yeah,
weekly. Like I would watch Raw and SmackDown, but it got to the point where it's like, okay,
none of this makes
MVP's
sense.
doing what with whoever, and I'm just like, I don't care about any of these people really or the
Yeah,
stories. Like the
it
writing was just not good.
it was a storytelling show where they were story driven. There's not as much wrestling, and the story
Mhm.
was not good.
Yeah.
And at least now, and I think this has to do with multiple things. I think it has to
Mhm.
do with Cody coming in, but I also think more importantly, it's Triple H kind
Yeah.
of having more of a hand in it, the wrestler mentality.
Hmm.
Which I mean, Vince, I think understands that mentality too. He's just older now, but
Until he got the black mustache, and then it was
yeah,
all downhill from there.
yeah, it's over from there. Yeah, he's
It's
gone.
over. Yeah.
But WWE is doing better. I'm glad. Uh, I'm glad. I want to see them improve. But not my cup of tea at this moment in time.
Competition breeds success. I think
Absolutely.
AEW being who they are, bringing in the names that they're bringing in, is kind of influencing WWE to step up their game creatively, especially, I think.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'm all for competition in the wrestling scene.
me too. If WWE could just stop doing the camera cuts every
That'd be
five
great.
seconds,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just
Every
let me
every
watch the move.
punch landed, yeah.
Like, just I need to let me see
Or
this.
the rack zooms in and out and in and out and in and out.
I love it.
Those got to stop. Quit it.
What do you think of the 3D graphics when they come out?
Not a huge fan.
Not a huge fan. Yeah,
I'm I guess old school purist. I want the SmackDown fist to come back, or
yeah.
the layered like ovals with the white tarp and then the blue LEDs on them. Bring that back for a one night event, just like the
Okay.
old school Raw set. Um,
It was funny.
Anything Attitude Era.
We were. It was funny. We were. I can't remember what it was, but I just had Raw on one night, and someone came out, and Blake, my wife, for those listening, Blake is like, "Oh, are those things really there?" I was like, "No." She goes, "Oh, I like those," and so I like it. Does like some people do like the 3D graphics? I guess it does kind of add. I think it was Bianca's like hair
Mhm.
whip that comes up on the screen. Um, I personally don't, but some people do. Hey, if you're making money, I guess it's working. But oh well. Anyway, that is all our time for Wrestling Pops. Thank you, huge thank you to Tanner for stopping by. And if you'd like to listen to both of us together more often, you can check out the Deep Culture Podcast, which is where you are watching this video right now. Yeah, just go and click another video. Just go right below it,
Yep.
and below
It's
that,
probably the one after this.
yeah, and just below this, and below this, and this, and that, and then
And
just
then
keep watching them all.
there's some wrestling commentary in there. There's some
Yes,
NCAA football gameplay. There's a
watch
Hot Wings challenge.
watch them all until I have a million views, or else I'm jumping off a ladder, doing it. I'm gonna do it.
I'll do it right behind you through a
All
table.
right, all right. That's it for Wrestling Pops, though. Hey, be good. I'll see you next time.